And she sits with the woman there. And the woman identifies herself, I'm Fatima, the wife of the Khalifa, Umar Ibn Aziz. They sit in a corner of the house and they begin to talk. Then a man comes in who was out in the outskirts meeting with his advisors and sees, I told you his house was a house of mud. And he takes mud and water and patches holes in his house. Because as you know, houses from mud are not like cement. They always have holes in them. So what did he do? So a man comes and takes mud and water and patches the holes. So Umar, the woman tells the lady, you got no shame? Your servant over here is walking back and forth and your hair's uncovered? Then that man comes and he says, are you two doing okay? Do you need anything? Fatima says to Umar, our guest is hungry. So Umar goes and cleans some grapes and some fruits and brings it and provides it for them. Then she tells her, the one you're asking about, the reason I didn't cover my hair is that's my husband over there. Umar Ibn Aziz, patching the holes in his wall, bringing food for a woman guest. And then she says to her, this woman wants to sit with you. She has some problem. So she sits with her, with Umar. And Umar, as soon as she begins talking, he's crying and crying, and as usual, crying. Umar, I have 7 daughters. And my 8 daughters, actually. And my husband died, and he left me 8 lazy daughters. They don't help me out in the house. And they don't work, and they don't do nothing so I want you to cut a grant, a monthly payment for my daughters. So he sits with her and cries. He says, all 8 of them? We can't do that. We'll give you 1. And you deal with that. And he says to the writer, come on, write. And he says, for the first one, we're gonna write so and so amount every month. You take it to the governor where you're at. She says, Alhamdulillah. He says, what's the name of the second one? And she gives him the name of the second one. And he says, Alhamdulillah. She says, Alhamdulillah. And the third one. And he said, 1. And she says, Alhamdulillah. And the 4th one, 5th one, Alhamdulillah, 6th one, 7th one, Alhamdulillah. No, the 7th one she says, Jazakallah khair ya Umar. May Allah reward you, Umar. He says, we stop here. Had you said Alhamdulillah and that as well, thanking Allah, I would have given you for the 8th one. Take from the percentage of the 7th and give it on to the 8th. She takes the letter back and takes it to the governor of Iraq. As soon as she enters on the governor of Iraq, the news has hit that Umar Ibn Aziz had died. The governor takes it and begins to kiss it and cry. Said, the justice we've seen today is from that man who just died. She hears he cried and she screams as loud as she can in the palace and fainted because the leader, she walks all that distance because she knows Umar will give her justice. A letter from Umar builds a fence. The leader has to make sure it's built. This was the justice of our khalifas. We weren't oppressors. We weren't killers. When someone wanted to kill, we taught them a lesson. However, when it was time for justice, no one was better in this ummah than our leaders. Jazakumullah khair. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam. There will not be a dars tomorrow or the day after. The reason is because my father holds an Arabic class here every Tuesday around 8 o'clock. And, I don't want to mess with my father, to be honest with you. And the following day, Wednesday, is for sisters. He's teaching a group of sisters from 6 to 9 o'clock. And you wouldn't want to mess with sisters, as you know. Okay? So, Tuesday and Wednesday, we will not have a dars here. This, inshallah, will resume on Thursday. We'll have the next hero of ours on Thursday. We ask Allah that from amongst us be a hero like this and the heroes we've been talking about. And inshallah, if it doesn't come from us, we raise heroes like that. When you look at your son, the sisters, when you look at your son, the brothers, you look at a Umar Ibn Aziz, you look at a Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi. That's how you have to look at them. I want my son to be like these heroes. When you look at him and you held him in that high position, then you know, inshallah, he's going to be like that. But when you look at him and you say, I want you to become an engineer and a doctor. No, that's not enough. That's the limited mentality. We want our sons to be heroes like these men with legacies. Jazakumullah khair wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.
How many generations after the Prophet did
Four. For 3 actually. Yes. You want to make an announcement about anything? Reiterate it. Huh? Huh? Not from this. Yeah.
Do you want them to hear the questions or no?
No, just that's it. They're done with.
Okay, inshallah, the halaqah will continue on Thursday. Jazakallah khair for everybody that attended.
They can email.
If you have any questions, feel free to email ibnmansur@darussalam.net. Like I said before, there will be no halaqah tomorrow or Wednesday. Jazakallah khair for coming. The room will be closing in a little bit.
Just close that down.
It was 48 last I checked, but now
What's there?
it was number 1, say 48. No, I see. Sheikh is about
Why is that he asking that? Just close the room. Close it.
Taking questions?
Yes.
Should we turn the camera on, Sheikh? Questions?
Yeah, keep it on. Keep that on.
It's not directly related to what you were talking about, but what you were talking about made me think of something.
It's okay. The question don't have to be.
Okay, if you loan a Muslim some certain amount of money, and you need the money back, and you are aware that the brother has money, or he spends money, and he's claiming that he doesn't have the money that he owes you, he's not able to pay you back, but you see that he has some money. Also, since it's an extreme situation, you also see that he has a lot of property or things that he could acquire money with. What is your right upon that person?
Well, you have the right to get your money. You could go through appropriate channels, get people involved, of course, Islamic people involved. Try to go through appropriate channels to get it. If you forgive, that's a great reward for that. If you don't want to forgive and you want to take it back, you have the right to go to any extreme to get what you're owed back.
Can you take from his property even without his permission, like foreclosure?
Islamically, and you went through some steps to tell him I want my money, and it's really proven, yes, you can do that. Yes, of course.
Sheikh, my question is about the money of the zakah that you said there was nobody to take this money. Is it okay to give it to the Jews and Christians?
Well, if there's no one to take it, what are you going to do with it? Maybe that's his guess. Who said it's zakah? Who told you it's zakah?
I thought that you said it.
I said the house of the Muslim. The house of Muslims has zakah, has charities, has foreclosures in it. Someone.
For zakah, we cannot give it to.
The regular rule, of course not. إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والغارمين عليها إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين وابن السبيل والعاملين عليها وفي الرقاب. And free والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب. The slaves, the poor, the ones whose destiny, they're lost in the wayfare, and the Christian and Jews who are about to embrace Islam. والمؤلفة قلوبهم. Some scholars said that it's not the Jews and Christians or non-Muslims who are about to embrace Islam, the ones who just embrace Islam, yeah. But there's both opinions on that. But just to go and give it to any Jew, the general rule is not. But maybe the scholars gather, they got so much wealth, it's okay. If there's so much wealth and there's no one to take it, that's Allahu A'lam, I don't know. But the house of the Muslim doesn't really have to be zakah only.
Sheikh, who were the rulers before him? They were evil rulers? They were good rulers?
They're from the Umayyad family. You can't say they're evil. They're Muslim, but there's oppression going on. What they did was, how money gets to you, and Iman is less. So what happened is they began to play around with the wealth of the Ummah, a lot of oppression going on. They take, similar to the kingdoms you see today. You take a land, no one's there to tell him you can't take it, because he's a member of the royal family. So Umar ibn Aziz came and cleared all that mess up.
How did he become a ruler from them?
People got sick of it, and they wanted a leader, and it's going to be from the Umayyad leadership. And he had some precedent. He was a leader, a governor before, and wherever he was a governor, he did exactly what he did over the whole world. So they said, we want this man then. Yes, okay.
We had a question. I had a question earlier about Khalifa and taking the jizya. Who is the jizya accepted from? And in Islam, who is allowed to practice the religion in